punya habibah. Krishna tava punya habibah. Krishna tava punya habibah. Ye punya koribe jabe Radharani khushi habe Durvati bole to mata Ye punya koribe jabe Radharani khushi habe Durvati bole to mata Krishna tava punya habeba Krishna tava punya habeba Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Sachi Sutta Priyati Krishna Sevaya Jara Solana Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Sachi Sutta Priyati Krishna Sevaya Jara Dulana Se Mohanta Guru Jagatir Madhevuru Se Mohanta Guru Jagatir Madhevuru Krishna Bhakti Detai Krishna Tava Punya Habeba Krishna Tava Punya Habeba Tara Icha Balavan Pasya Chetanta Tara Icha Balavan Pasya Chetanta Oi Jate Gaurangirana Prithivite Nagaradi Asamudra Nada Nadi Takele Loi Krishna Krishna Taba Punya Habeba Krishna Taba Punya Habeba Tahale Ananda Hoy Tabe Hoy Digvijay Chaitanya Kripati Se Tahale Ananda Hoy Tabe Hoy Digvijay Chaitanya Kripati Se Maya Dusta Jata Dukhi Jagat Shabi Shukhi Vaishnave Richa Purna Ho Maya Dusta Jata Dukhi Jagat Shabi Shukhi Vaishnave Richa Purna Ho Krishna Tava Punya Habeba Krishna Tava Punya Habeba Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Subhata Mai Jaya Sudarshan Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Ananta De Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Ananta De Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev. Gurudev, Gurudev, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Jayama Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parigvacharya, Astotra Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, welcome all the devotees for today's Prabhupada Katha. I pay my humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees and Krishna Priya Prabhu, Balaji Govinda Prabhu, Dhamai Prabhu, Prema Radhika Mataji, Radharani Mataji, Ravilochan Prabhu, RG Prabhu, Saraswati, Sugna Mai Mataji, Uttara Mataji. Please bless me so that I will be able to speak something on Srila Prabhupada glories today. So, we were reading this, today's third one, Prabhu. So let us read the translation of the third one, then we can get started. Okay, let me read 1 to 3 so that we get the context. But today we'll be discussing on the third stanza of this song. Oh brothers, the Supreme Lord Krishna will bestow virtue upon you, but he will do this only when Srimati Radharani first becomes pleased with you. This I surely declare to you. Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who was very dear to Lord Gauranga, the son of Mother Sachi, in unparalleled in his service to the Supreme Lord Krishna. He is that great saintly spiritual master, most magnanimous within this universe, who bestows devotion to Krishna in various places throughout the world. His desire is very powerful, and thus he causing the holy name of Lord Gauranga to spread throughout all the countries of the Western world, in all the cities, towns, and villages, and earth, extending to all the ocean, rivers, and streams, everyone may accept the holy name of Krishna. 3. Thus, all the directions will be conquered by the flood of transcendental ecstasy mellow with this excessive mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When all the miserable living entities that have been corrupted by Maya become happy, then the Vaishnava's desire is fulfilled. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Madhyam Tadati Swapatantikam Vandegam Shri Guru Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadudam Parijana Sakitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitam Cha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Dinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Deshadarine Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpataro Besha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Grim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Deenadarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Let me share my screen. Today, Just give me a second. Today I have taken the topic of compassionate because in this third stance, uh, Prabhupada writes that all the direction will be conquered by flood of transcendent ecstasy following the excessive mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is Mahavadanyaya. So he is going to spread all his mercy. But when all the miserable living entities that have been corrupted by Maya become happy, then the Vaishnava's desire is fulfilled. What is Vaishnava's desire? They want to be compassionate to all the fallen conditioned souls who have been corrupted by Maya. When they're all happy, the Vaishnavas will be happy. The Vaishnavas will be never happy um, when they see the fallen conditioned souls. So I was hearing one of the lecture. Uh, Sometimes, we say, Prabhu, I'm following four regulative principle. So all these four regulative principle tied to the four pillars of Dharma, mercy, cleanliness, like that. But a person who is called himself as a Vaishnava, but is not preaching, then he's also breaking one of the pillars of Dharma, especially merciful. So it's not that just not killing the animals. It is a human being who is suffering in the material condition, and you know the secret formula to go back to Godhead, but you don't share, you don't preach, you keep it with you. Then it is also extended version of breaking the four regulative principle, in the sense we are not being merciful to others. So a Vaishnava Acharya means he would be compassionate seeing the fallen conditioned soul. If he doesn't preach, then that's a natural quality of anybody who's claiming to Vaishnava, that paradukha dukhi. So that's the topic for today's discussion. And we will see in Prabhupada's life and other Acharyas' life how this mood of compassion, preaching, delivering others is very much integral part of their qualities. And this is not something artificial for them. It is natural. Then they go beyond their bodily sufferings to help the other fallen conditioned souls. So I remember one of the Acharya, obviously, comes into my mind when a compassionate is that Ramanujacharya. So when Ramanujacharya was trying to take initiation from Goshtipurna, a spiritual master. So he went and asked multiple times, please give me Diksha Mantra. He denied. He said, no, the time has not yet come. You come after some time. I will teach you. So Ramanuja goes first time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, till 18th time. His guru said, yeah, you come back. Still, you're not ready for that. The problem was that why he was delaying is that this mantra, a person who is not having any material desire, only that person can chant and go back to Godhead. Others, if the person who is attached to materialist thing, he can't get this mantra. He is not qualified to utter this mantra. So he was very morose. Ramanujacharya was thinking, what is the use of my life? I'm not able to get mantra from my guru. And, I need to, he was really depressed, and, not depressed in sense, he was really morose, and he was praying, crying, and all the other acharyas around them saw Ramanuja's condition. They all went to explain to Goshtipurna, see, this Ramanuja is a great personality. He's been, you're deprived of him the initiation. 18 times he has come. And, he's morose, and you should give him, he's a great personality. They're all trying to convince him. So then Goshtipurna asked him to come after 18th time. He came and he was happy. He said, you are the right person to get this knowledge, because I was trying to see, because this mantra is very powerful, and give me the promise that you will not give it to anyone else, because any person who is not in the completely free from material contamination, he can't hear this mantra. So that's the reason I've tested your patience for so many times, and you unless you promise me, I will not give this mantra. Ramanuja says, yes, Guru, I will follow your order. Then he gives the famous mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya. So Ramanuja was, as soon as he chanted, he was feeling so blissful, ecstasy. All the symptoms started, loving, devotional service, prema is coming, and he was so ecstatic. And he was chanting on the way coming. Then he thought, what is the, only so much ecstasy is there. There's so many fallen conditioned souls. They're never going to go back to Godhead. If this mantra can take all of them to go back to Godhead, let me dwell in hell, let me break my orders of my spiritual master, then what it would be the better? Then Tirukotiur, he just climbed the temple top, and his disciples, Dasarathi and other people were there, but he just climbed top of the Gopura and started calling all the people, those who were passerby. So there was a huge crowd started accumulating. Then he said, I'm going to tell you one secret mantra. By chanting, you'll all feel ecstasy, you'll all go back to Godhead. So everyone said, please, please tell. Then Ramanuja proclaimed, Om Namo Narayana. So the people, as soon as he chanted, everybody started Om Namo Narayana. And everybody is in ecstasy, complete ecstasy. They just saw the power of the mantra. Devotion comes from the pure mouth of Ramanujacharya, and they are all literally into ecstasy of bhakti. Then, as soon as this is over, Ramanujacharya gets down from the temple Gopuram, then directly walks towards his guru, Goshtipurna. Goshtipurna already came, and he's already knew that Ramanujacharya has broken his vow of his guru's vow, and he was extremely unhappy, and he was literally angry. And as soon as Ramanuja came and paid obeisances, he chastised like anything. How dare you to break Guru's order? I told you this mantra is only for the people who can really purified, pure devotion service, who can do it. Only they can do it. Otherwise, this potency of this mantra is such a powerful, they can't, anybody and everybody cannot chant. How can you break my orders and things like that? When Ramanuja said, I am very insignificant. If I go to hell, but rather other people go to Krishna Loka, I'll be more happy. What is the use of this person breaking it? And I'm very, very insignificant. Seeing this humility and compassionate, Goshtipurna understood. So he's not ordinary person, he's Acharya. So then he blessed him. So similarly, we see another episode in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which you see in the screen. So this is Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 15th chapter. Takes 158 to another 10 shlokas we can read. So I'll read for the purpose of, okay, I'll try to read translation. Tabe Vasudeva Prabhu Kare Alingana Tanara Guna Kahe Hana Sagashra Vadana. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Vasudeva Datta. So we are going to talk about the great personality Vasudeva Datta, and began to speak of his glories as if he had thousands of mouths. Nija guna suni datta mane lajja pana nivedana kare Prabhu racharane dariya. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorified him, Vasudeva Datta immediately became very much embarrassed and shy. He then submitted himself, touching the Lord's lotus feet. Jagat Tharite Prabhu Tumara Avatara Mora Nivedana Ekakaraha Ankikara. Vasudeva Datta told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, you incarnate just to deliver all conditioned souls. I now have one petition which I wish you to accept. So what's Vasudeva Datta speaking? Karite samartha tumi hoi daya maya tumi mana kara tabe anaya shahaya. My Lord, you are certainly able to do whatever you like, and you are indeed merciful. If you so desire, you can very easily do whatever you want. Jivera dukha deki mora hirdaya bidare sarva jivera papa prabhu deha mora shire. Oh my Lord, my heart breaks to see the suffering of all the conditioned souls. Therefore, I request you to transfer the karma of their sinful lives upon my head. Vasudeva is asking, let everyone go back to Godhead. Let me suffer in hellish, I don't mind, but give all their papas to me. Jivera papalana muni karun naraka boga shakala jivera prabhu gucha bhava roga. My dear Lord, let me suffer perpetually in hellish condition, accepting all the sinful reactions of all the living entities. Please finish their deceased material life. Um, so many of the devotees, they want to do bhajan. When Srila Prabhupada, his god brothers were there, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. They were also very scholarly person. I think it's Bhakti Sridhar Akshata Maharaj or something. So he also knew English proficiently. He also knows Sattva. They're also equally like what Prabhupada knew and things like that. So when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati asked him, will you want to go back to preach to the Western world? Then Prabhupada God brothers told, my heart is in Vrindavan or Navadip. Any assignment preaching here we will do, but we don't want to go to other countries because all our heart is here. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur could able to understand the mood of other disciples, but Srila Prabhupada was completely different. Prabhupada, he said, my spiritual master told me to do preaching in this English-speaking world. Let me do that. So that is the compassion of like Vasudeva Datta. So here Vasudeva Datta is telling he will take the entire sin of the entire universe and perpetually, you can never come out of it. Let me suffer perpetually. So comparative Srila Prabhupada compares in the purport of Lord Christ, Krishna, Christ, and Vasudeva is prepared to accept the sins of everyone in this universe. So the comparative position of Vasudeva is million times better than that of Lord Christ. So he is telling how is the mood of Vasudeva Datta, wonderful. But in this connection, we also see a prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, text number 9, chapter 9, 43. This is Prahlad Maharaj prayers on this wonderful shloka. Naivo divije para dorataya vitaranyas tvad gayana mahamitra magna chittaha sochetato vimukta chetasha indriyartha maya sukya baran udvahato vimutan. So here translation by Prahlad Maharaj, oh best of great personalities, I am not all afraid of material existence. For wherever I stay, I am fully absorbed in thoughts of your glories and activities. My concern is only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness and maintaining their families, societies, and countries. I am simply concerned with love for them. So this is Prahlad Maharaj praying, saying that, oh my Lord, what is Lord Nrsimhadev is asking boon. He said, for me, I'm all right because I'm already practicing devotion service. I'm sure I will go or I will get bhakti or love of Godhead. But what about this so many personalities who are all rascals, concerns only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for the material happiness and maintaining their families, societies, and countries. I'm simply concerned and I want to liberate them. I don't want to come unless I liberate them. In this connection, we see that actually Mahaprabhu tells that Vasudeva Datta, oh, you are the same personality as that of so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard Vasudeva Datta's statement. In his heart became very soft and tears flowed his eyes. And Mahaprabhu speaks now. Tumara vichitra nahe tumi shakshat prahalada tumara upare krishnera sampurna prasada. Mahaprabhu says, accepting Vasudeva Datta as a great devotee, the Lord said, such a statement is not all astonishing because you are the incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj. Now we can see the connection between Prahlad Maharaj prayers and Vasudeva Datta. So here is telling Prahlad Maharaj, like, so people has to cross the Vraja river, material ocean. So it is very difficult. Mahamaya Durataya, they are all Devi Esa Gunamai, Mamamaya Durataya. Otherwise, they think that they do everything. Prakriti Kriyamanani, Gunai Karmani Sharvashaka, Akankara Vimoda Atma, Kartaka Midi Manyate. So fools and rascals, they think that they are doing it. The example is given like, father having a small child. The child will always want to drive the bike. So he'll always tell the father, Father, I want to drive the bike. And every day evening, the father comes, keeps the son or daughter on the bike. And, he drives actually, but the baby or boy thinks that they are driving, they'll put accelerator and they can't even touch the gear. what to talk about, driving the bike, balancing it. But the child thinks that, oh, I am driving the bike. See how nicely I'm driving the bike. But who is the behind it? Father Shri Krishna. So this example Prahlad Maharaj gives, saying that, oh, these people are so fallen. They think that they are the doers, but they don't do, they don't know. And also it is very, very difficult to overcome these three modes of material nature, how they fall in conditioned souls. So the Acharya thought, how much I can tell, to the kid who is not able to understand, who is adamant. Okay, let me compassionate, let me merciful, let me take all their sins, let them go back to Godhead, let me suffer, or I have already knew the path of bhakti. At least I am protected, but let me other do it. So let it be Ramanujacharya, let it be Prahlad Maharaj, who later came in the Amsa of Vasudeva Datta, or Srila Prabhupada. They're all acharyas are, such a compassionate souls. And we need to learn something from them as well, because as I mentioned initially, whatever capacity we are in, we may not be really voracious orator of all this Srimad Bhagavatam, we may not know the shlokas. Whatever capacity we have, even cleaning the garden, keeping it nice, somebody is visiting the temple, seeing that, oh, it's a beautiful garden, that's a preaching. Beautiful decoration of the altar, that is a preaching. So any form and shape, somebody needs to speak, distribute this knowledge of Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada, compassionate, because one time Srila Prabhupada was sitting in Australia and instructing his disciples, and he was bringing the mood of compassionate. How everyone should, our movement is about compassionate movement. We should be very compassionate, and we should bring everyone together. And also, he was imbibing that mode of compassionate to the person who is sitting in the GBC meeting, or the senior leaders who were sitting, and telling that everyone should accept. So, in this regard, I also want to do one slide on Srila Prabhupada, comparing him, how the mood of Prahlad Maharaj and the mood of Srila Prabhupada is non-different. So Prabhupada always signs, um, is ever well-wisher, his signature, his letter. So the real Sugrudam Sarva Bhutanam Nyatva Mam Shanti Rachite. Krishna is the real well-wisher. So the Bhaktas are real well-wishers. So if you see Prahlad Maharaj, he also underwent so many problems, but he saw Krishna. See, for us it is, oh, Prahlad Maharaj suffering, Kunti Maharani is suffering, but it is from our perspective they are suffering. For them it is not suffering. They don't see as suffering as a suffering. That's the difference. So pure Vaishnava never sees the suffering as a suffering. Either they think that, oh, I have too much karma, I deserve more, but Krishna is so kindful, or they just don't see the problem itself as a problem. It's only from our perspective that we see the problem. So for example, Prahlad Maharaj was given poison, so he was lovingly drinking it. Then somebody asked, "You are not afraid?" He said, "From when the milk question was churned, first thing is came out alahal, the poison, and the Lakshmi Devi came. My Lakshmi Devi is my mother, so this Visha is my uncle, maternal uncle. So why should I have difficulty in drinking poison?" So he was thrown from cliff. So he was just happily jumping. Oh, I'm going to the mother's lap, because the mother earth is the consort of the Lord. I'm going to the mother lap. Which baby would not be happy getting into the mother's lap? There are many kids, you take a lot of mothers, just try to console some of the kids, but they will keep crying. But as soon as they land in mother's lap, the baby knows that I'm in mother's lap, I'm safe. Feel such a satisfaction, the baby would stop crying. But many a times, many matajas, even though try, the baby wouldn't pacify. But as soon as she gets into touch of the mother and gets into the lap, especially, the entire universe is forgotten, entire pain is forgotten, the baby in whatever difficulties, and it would stop crying immediately. So Prahlad Maharaj was ready to jump into mother's lap. Far as, oh, he's throwing from the cliff, it's a big problem for him. But Prahlad Maharaj is not looking at that angle. His angle is completely different. Oh, let me jump into mother's lap. What else is the best thing in the world, which place where one can get such a peaceful calmness? And he was ready to jump. When the fire was there, oh, this is the tongue of Vishnu. When so much yajna is performed, Vishnu's tongue. Oh, let me touch my father's tongue. He was ready to jump. People has to hold him. Not to jump. That's a mood in which they acharyas they work, because for them it is not a difficulty, but from our angle, oh, we say Prahlad Maharaj undergone so much difficulties. For him, everywhere is seeing Krishna, everything is seeing Krishna. He's so happy, so blissful. You know, and that's how the acharyas work. When Mithra was chastised to go out of the palace, he felt, oh my God, this is opportunity for me to go and associate with great souls and learn about bhakti. What I'm doing it here, and he was internally happy. Externally, he said, yeah, I'm going and all. But internally, he was so happy. When Parshit Maharaj was cursed, he said, I deserve much better than this. I made a lot of mistake by putting that snake and Samikya Rishi. And he never was felt bad anytime the curse. He said, oh my God, I should have got more. This is nothing, you know. It moved of the Vaishnavas or the Acharyas like that. So, and Srila Prabhupada also saw everywhere Krishna's hand. He had heart attack 2 times. He tolerated. Another third one, I don't think so. Prabhupada Dasar Bhaibidi says in this poem. So later he writes all this poem after getting this realization, or after this undergoing, seeing Krishna's personally hand. All these Dasavataras came. They said, Prabhupada, Abhaycharan, don't worry. We will take you for the mission. So all this Dasavataras rowing the boat for Srila Prabhupada in Jaladuta. And in that mood, Prabhupada writes his wonderful poem. Imagine the, Acharya's vision, and these are cherishable, these shlokas. We can talk about, lifetime after lifetime. Such a wonderful poem. After realizing, after seeing all this, Krishna's hand everywhere, like Prabhupada was completely broken. Seeing that heart attack and Jaladuta is so much struggle, then Krishna himself personally came and pacified, and he made sure that took the control of the ocean. And we all know from the Prabhupada Lilamrita, the ocean was so peaceful and calm, because Krishna, Prabhupada could able to see all this, the Savaradas taking, rowing the boat and taking Prabhupada directly and to his. So Prabhupada witnessed all these things. Prabhupada was witnessing. So Hiranyakashipu was beating on the pillar. Prahlad Maharaj could able to see inside the pillar who was there. He saw the Narsingadev. That's why he said, yes, he is there. It's not that just faith out of faith. He said, yes, the Lord is there everywhere. When he said, he could able to see Narsingadev, Lord, inside the pillar. It's not that Prahlad Maharaj did not see. That conviction came because he could able to see. And Prabhupada could able to see Prabhupada, what is Krishna's mission, what Krishna's wanted to go through. The biggest issue is that when Acharya comes, they behave like a normal person. They don't show any opulence, or they don't show any characteristics. Let's say Narsingadev comes. Nobody need to give lecture. He is Supreme Personality of Godhead. You should accept it. Everybody know Narsingadev is Lord. When Krishna comes, everybody knows he is Lord. When Lord Ramachandra comes, everybody knows Lord. But when Acharya comes, somebody needs to tell them, oh, this is the person incarnation of such and such a thing, and is such thing. And, so Srila Prabhupada, like that, the Acharyas generally come as a normal human beings, and one of among us. It's very difficult to identify and understand them, unless, we understand that, we hear from their close associates what were there. And we can also see from their activities and the achievements what Prabhupada has done it in 9 years of time. It's miracle. So now we see preaching is the essence. So Prahlad Maharaj says, I don't want wish to liberate it alone, leaving aside all these poor fools and rascals which we did. So he converted all the demands into devotees, all his group, schoolmate, Gurukul mate. He just converted all of them, including other people, to follow the devotional service. So Prabhupada also did. He was in the midst of hippies, and he made them happy. So what is the difficulties Prabhupada undergo? He is 70 plus years age. At 70 plus age, doing something, achieving is really, really difficult. Our body doesn't cooperate. Now itself, one day fasting for Janmashtami, like now, 2 days, 3 days gone for a task for me. And it's very difficult. He's still young age. But 70 years, Prabhupada is going and preaching that too, undergoing this traveling. One day we go and come in the nice pushback, or the flight also we get tired. But Prabhupada is going in a cargo ship, which is, so much waves and shaking in the ocean, so ferocious, and Prabhupada has to tolerate it. And doesn't have money. Whenever we go, we never plan. We plan for something, bank balance, and nice thing, then we plan for a trip. We never plan for a trip without money. Let me go and see, whatever it happens will happen. We'll not even move out of the house if we don't have money. Unless we have money, we don't even move out of the house. There is no strategy. At least we Janmashtami, we planned, okay, we'll do that. We'll call the press reporter. We do that festival. This one, 2 weeks, devotees were brainstorming what to do, things like that. Prabhupada did not have strategy because he didn't know about what is that to expect in America. He know that it's all more milechas and yavanas are there, but what strategy needs to be done? Prabhupada did not had. He had same faith on the Bhagavatam and holy name. Other than that, he didn't had a strategy. Morning program I will hold like this. 9 o'clock I will do this. 10 o'clock I will do this. No, Prabhupada was just depending on Krishna. No knowledge of the place. At least you need to know this place. You want to organize some community hall, you want to preaching, then I would say, oh, this needs to be arranged, that needs to be arranged. Admin should be there for the Zoom call. Now can give the shloka, this one. He booked the speaker, then he has to book the slot, Zoom arrangement, who is the recording, everything. Still, we have a technical problem. But Prabhupada, he didn't had knowledge of the place. There is no supporting system, no contact, left or right, we don't know. There is somebody, Sally Agarwal, he wrote to him, but he didn't know they will come or not. Other than that, Prabhupada did not have any clue who will be protecting him. And that's a time where the counterculture was happening. First of all, children's listening to parents, it's very, very difficult. That too, that counterculture was happening in America. The kids would never listen to their parents. That's how they became a hippie. They do whatever they want to like to do. And if the parents itself, they don't listen. And listening to a 70-year-old, a 20-year-old boy, 16, 17 years old, teenagers, and they are in less than 30s, and they want listening to a person who is very old, 70s, that too from India, foreigner. It's completely, it's just not possible at all. Then, and he has to preach about following for regulative principle, which day in, day out, they break it. It's not the Prabhupada told, okay, you leave now liquor and tomorrow coffee and tea. He never did step by step, straightforward for regulative principle. You have to don't do this. Prabhupada was never compromised on his philosophy, and he has to tell what is fact is fact. That's why many of the people liked it. Inside, they saw the sincerity of Srila Prabhupada, the compassion of Srila Prabhupada. Immediately they could able to link, oh, this person is not a normal person. He has come for some purpose. 70 years old, what could be interior motive he can have unless he wants to deliver us? And such a, without no money, his name doesn't came for a name, fame. Also, he left Vrindavan, which is very closer to him. He was sitting in skyscraper, but Prabhupada was still thinking Vrindavan. So he left everything and came for us to deliver. So then they understood and they started doing it. So Prahlad Maharaj also had some difficulties in the preaching to the demonic people, but Prabhupada also did that. So it's a Saktivesh avatar of compassion. Srila Prabhupada, compassion is, we can talk, and it's never ending story of Srila Prabhupada. So I would like to couple of another 15 minutes narrate few past Srila Prabhupada. Then you will understand his mood. There are two stories I want to tell about Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita. I heard it multiple times, but I don't know the source, but I heard it multiple times. I'm sure that is the right one. So one time, these devotees were with Srila Prabhupada, and there was a servant called Nityam who was serving Srila Prabhupada. And some of the devotees had a doubt. What is that the next assignment of Prabhupada? Where he would go? What he will do? Because very many times Prabhupada told that I want to come, but I argue with Krishna and I to preach here. That's what Prabhupada would tell. So all what is that Prabhupada would do next? He asked his personal servant, oh Nitai, do you know where is the next assignment of Srila Prabhupada after this lifetime? Nitai said, oh, and this question never came up. I didn't ask him. Let me go and ask him. He immediately ran to Prabhupada's room and asked him, and he came back. And they were all eager to hear the answer. You know what Prabhupada told? I will go to the lower planetary system and preach. Prabhupada said that he will go to the lower planetary system and preach to deliver the fallen conditioned soul, all the 7 planetary system below us. So imagine the compassion of Srila Prabhupada. And nobody would dare to tell that, this lifetime is enough, let's go back. No, that's what, even though it's a pure devotional service, we shouldn't ask for mukti, but Such a frustration happens. My God, let me, somehow selfish and let me get out of this place. But Prabhupada is here telling, I will go to the lower planetary system. So unimaginable. There's another story of Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was almost sick. This is 1977, beginning of 1977. Prabhupada was not taking anything. He just taking a half glass or quarter glass of juice, liquid for many days, and is not even able to eat anything, drink anything, even drinking also quarter glass of juice. This is what is his body's become literally bone and skin. There is no flesh. Prabhupada's need to be turned also. No, somebody has to turn his bone, leg bones, and things like that. So that's a precarious condition. And Prabhupada said, "I want to go to London and preach." And everybody was shocked. Prabhupada, at this condition, how do you do it? Then there is one Sri Vaishnava from Bangalore, and he wants to travel and meet Srila Prabhupada. This he heard about Prabhupada many a times. His name, I forgot his name, is Sampath Kumar Bhattacharya. This person, that time, those days, flying is too costly, but this Sri Vaishnava want to meet Srila Prabhupada. And he told the devotees, I want to talk one-on-one in person. I don't want to talk in public. And everybody said, how can you talk? But he came all the way from Bangalore. It's a Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. Not Sri Vaishnava, or it's more of a Brahmanikala Pujari type of thing. I don't know if it's a Sri Vaishnava or not. It's more, but he knows, he's a very educated person in Shastras. So very reputed, respected person who has come all the way to Bangalore to visit Prabhupada in the flight. Then they all understood there must be some important conversation. They allowed him. So then he said, Acharya, why are you suffering? You've been suffering quite a lot. Then Prabhupada said, what to do? Dukkha lema sashvatam. But Swamiji, when you suffer it, there are also so many disciples of yours. They're also getting suffering because they can't see you're suffering so much, like that. Prabhupada said, what I can do, like that. Then he had a suggestion. So he told Prabhupada, I have one suggestion, which he thought he doesn't know, Prabhupada doesn't know. I saw in Vrindavan, your Murti is there and people are worshipping your Murti when you are alive. What happens is when you worship the Murti when you are alive, all the sins will come and all the papas will come, everybody will deposit, and that will affect your health. That is the reason you are suffering here, like that. And he thought that this message may not Prabhupada know. Prabhupada said, I knew this exactly. But I have taken birth here to take all the sins of everyone. I want to deliver everyone. That's the reason I've taken my objective of coming over here. And he said, then the person in Bangalore, Vaishnava, he understood what is Prabhupada mode, and he was literally in tears, saying such a compassionate soul, knowingly he was taking all the sins, and he established his Murti in Vrindavan while he was alive. And he knew that this exact process, what will happen, that Prabhupada was suffering. But he knew, he said, like Vasudeva Datta, let me perpetually suffer in hell, but let me deliver this fallen conditions. Otherwise, what is the hope? And when the acharyas come with so much compassionate, our gratitude folds multiple times. Like, we are indebted. What is that we can do? Such an acharya was given Srila Prabhupada. Today we are sitting and hearing his katha. We have been happily in Krishna conscious life. What gratitude we can show to Srila Prabhupada? There is no words to express. How do we express our gratitude? Clueless. Such a compassionate soul of Srila Prabhupada. There are so many, 8-2 now. So I probably one more pastime. With that, probably we can have a share your realization. So one time the temple president of one of the temple was telling Prabhupada, this particular person has fall down. He's breaking all the four-legged principle. Please reject him. And many a times he was insisting, Srila Prabhupada, he's not following that, he's not cooperating with us, he's doing that, you should reject him. Prabhupada said, I can't do that. They said, why, Prabhupada? He's not following your instruction, then why you should not reject him? He said, this movement is for the fallen conditioned souls. This movement is created for the fallen conditioned souls. If I reject him, what is the point in creating this movement for the fallen conditioned souls? And the Prabhupada, even though they are against, sometimes some of the disciples went against him, they started their own movement, their own cult, different thing, but they're all respect to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada never rejected them. Many times they had a conversation. Prabhupada said, if I reject them, they'll never come back. At least if I don't reject them, there is chances that they will come back definitely to me later point in time. Many of his disciples did come back, even though they fell down, but they all come back because Prabhupada did not reject them. And Prabhupada said this promise, even after leaving this material world, I continue to suffer for them, or I continue to take their sins. I continue to protect them. This is Prabhupada's statement. So when Prabhupada says that even after leaving this, it's not just that Aksha Vigraha we have in the temple. Srila Prabhupada is physically present there, and he is protecting all of us. He is giving all us sins. He is taking all our difficulties. Prabhupada is suffering even after leaving this material world, because Prabhupada told, I will be there. So when we see, it's not that made of wax or fiber of some deities or murtis sitting. That is Srila Prabhupada in person taking care of all of us, and is watching all our activities to see how we can reclaim this fallen condition. So otherwise, there is no hope. We have fallen down in the pit, and somebody throws the rope and please hold it and come back. No, I don't have any qualification to preach. I don't have any ability. I am not that devotee, this devotee. That's the excuses most of us try to give. Prabhupada said, you don't have you're nothing for anything. Some devotees was telling like, Prabhupada, I can't do that. I can't preach. I don't have any strength. I don't have knowledge. I can't distribute. I can't do this seva. He said, I gave the qualification. You're anything of nothing is something like that, he said. So our motto should be, Acharya has told, let me do it to whatever capacity the seniors have been told to do, irrespective of whether I have a particular quality or not. That doesn't matter. That's secondary, because it is more of I oriented. I want to do, I can't do. We are again centering over I. When we come out of I, it's Acharyas want to do it, let me do it. That is the mood the disabled Prabhupada, disabled imbibe. They never said, I'm just 6-month-old Prabhupada. How can I go and preach? He said, go and preach in that country, this country. He sent everyone, 2-3 months old, 6-month-old in there. But they never thought that, they are not qualified. But they never on the I concept. They said, this is Prabhupada. Prabhupada I have faith in Prabhupada. Whatever Prabhupada says, it will happen. He will protect me. He will save me. That is the firm conviction had the Srila Prabhupada disciples. That should be our conviction too. When anybody says that, some excuses for not preaching, the time is not there, I'm not qualified, that is more of I-oriented. When we are I-oriented, you can't do this seva. So when we surrender to Acharyas, then, these questions will never arise. Why I'm not able to do that? I need to do more. That's the mood it will come, because Acharyas told me. Prabhupada simply went to America. The only reason is Guru has told, nothing else. Prabhupada told, there is nothing, no other motive. And in Radha Damodar temple, I have one more pastime. Is it okay, Prabhu? I will close with one more pastime. So this is Irdayananda Goswami Maharaj. Later, he was taking care of the Radha Damodar. You would have heard this pastime many times, but still for my purification. So he was staying in the Radha Damodar temple when Prabhupada, before going to America, those days, they're very close. And Prabhupada would follow regular programs. He would get up early morning, 7 o'clock, he would go out to have darshan of all the 6 Goswami temples, come back at 11 with some sabji or something. He would cook. Prabhupada used to have 1 meal a day. And whatever chapati, dal, rice he can eat, that's it. In the night, probably he'll have a little milk. That's all. Otherwise, he would chant and write. Again, evening, he would go hold satsanga, or he would go around meet temple darshan whenever there's no satsanga, and come back in the night. And there is something strange was happening in the night. So during discourse in Radha Damodar, Prabhupada, he is a Bengali and he knows Hindi. In Vrindavan, nobody understands English. But all his lectures in Radha Damodar Kotyat Prabhupada gave, he was giving in English. So later, this Acharya clarifies, I was wondering why Prabhupada was giving a lecture in Kotyad of Radha Damodar in India. In Vrindavan, people don't even understand English properly, and he used to give proper English lectures only. Never used to give Hindi lectures or Bengali lectures. Then he was practicing it to do it a later part of time. He knew exactly what his mission was, why he has taken this birth, what is his order of his spiritual master. And he was practicing it, speaking in English and giving lecture in Damodara temple, yeah, and Prabhupada. It's amazing. And in the night, one day, somebody was crying, wailing and crying. And this Hridayananda Goswami Maharaj went to the top and he saw something astonishing. Srila Prabhupada with his broom cleaning the courtyard of Radha Damodar, where Rupa and Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, he was crying, hey, Rupa Sanatana, how do I do this fulfillment? The people are suffering in the material world and I'm not able to help them. He was crying for the people who are crying in the material suffering. To release that, he was crying. This cry was different. How do I, for fallen conditioned souls, how do I deliver them? They're not able to take the message. I'm struggling so much hard to distribute back to Godhead. I'm trying to preach Krishna conscious, but nobody is suffering, and this suffering, I can't tolerate the suffering. And Prabhupada was profusely crying. Look at a Vaishnava Acharya. He's crying so much for that, we are struggling so much. If somebody's crying for us, that's a compassionate. The voyage is a compassionate voyage. When Prabhupada wouldn't have taken so much struggle in the Bohri, the lowest place, I probably, we want to associate with nice Vaishnavas, have association, Katha, Sangha, but we don't want to go to a place where we can't, preach. But Prabhupada went and stayed in Bohri, such Milechas and Yavanas, and he gave them the hope and he converted them hippies to happies. So that's the example of Prabhupada compassionate, a glimpse of just peel of what Prabhupada compassionate I spoke about it. And if we go in depth, our what do I say? Our gratitude will go multifold. And with that, I would stop here for any comments, reflections, corrections. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you are able to hear me, Prabhuji? Suddenly I lost.
Yeah. I'm able to hear you.
Okay, Prabhuji. I will unmute the lines now. Thank you, Prabhuji. You actually very beautifully narrated the mood of Prabhupada, the compassionate mood of Prabhupada, and you compared with the Acharyas, Sri Vaishnava Acharyas like Srila Ramanujacharya, and then our Sampradaya Acharya, Sri Bhaktivinoda, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and again you compared the mood of Srila Prabhupada and how he compassionately preached in the Western world. So beautiful, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for sharing this nectar. And I would like to unmute the lines of the devotees so you can share the comments or reflections.
Hare Krishna, Gaurachandra Gopinath Prabhu, and Pranam. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, very nectarian. I think, as you rightly said, we all Prabhupadanugas should imbibe that quality of Prabhupada. And you are one such example, Prabhu. Thank you. Great.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. So wonderful, Prabhu. Prabhu, I just sent you that clipping. I saw that book, Acharya. It's all about Srila Prabhupada. I wanted to buy the book. It was $100. That was not a thing. It was all 4 kilos. We were traveling onwards, so I could not buy. When I opened, only that 2 pages I could see where Nostradamus has predicted that there's going to be an advent of new religion and you're going to have a divine teacher. No doubt Prabhupada is surpassing all that. I'll try to get that book, Prabhu. I wanted to bring and give it to you, but I was helpless. I could not do. I don't know if it's available here.
Not only here in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, the Alvars have predicted. The Alvars have predicted that in Kali Yuga, nothing will happen, but there is one person who is going to come and is going to transform. Many people will chant and dance. And it has been predicted in that shloka as well. So I'll check. I must be having that slide, but yeah, like that. Yeah, I have it here. Let me share. So this is the shloka. If anybody can read Tamil, you can read Tamil. This is Thiruvaimoli. Nammalvar has written it. So he's Sakshat Krishna himself. Nammalvar is, telling victory, victory. Behold, something wonderful. All the inauspicious of the living entities is destroyed. No one is going to hell. Yamaraj is jobless. He has to apply some other job. And the effects of Kali Yuga cease to exist. This is because all over the world, an increasing number of Lord Vishnu's devotees singing his names while dancing and playing musical instrument. This is only ISKCON. This is only Srila Prabhupada. And that is Tamil version of the top. It is there. That's a translation of for you Thiruvaimoli. That is Nammalvar talking about Srila Prabhupada.
Haribol Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much to have your association.
Yes.
Thank Prabhupada, Hare Krishna.
Saraswati Mataji, sorry, Rani Uttara phone. Thanks for the wonderful nectar. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Saraswati Mataji, wonderful teaching. Hope you are hearing. By hearing this, I develop a little bit of compassion. Thank you so much, Mataji. Prema Priya Mataji, wonderful claims for sharing the mood of Acharya. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you again for the nectarian, wonderful class and sharing your realization also in that. Very, very nice. The mood of compassion, yes, you brought it so well. And, I really enjoy when you were talking about particularly Prabhupada and Acharyas, because it's so natural for you. It's coming from the heart, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In fact, our only hope is the compassion of Acharyas. So that's what is, is the only hope actually by which, whatever little advancement you can think of also. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Balaji Govinda Prabhu.
Prabhu, very nice lecture, very wonderful nectarian lecture, Prabhu. You have elaborated, you have glorified Srila Prabhupada and covering compassion, which I am lacking. So I request you also to pray for me so that I develop compassion to all living entities.
I like to thank all of you because I could not able to glorify Prabhupada on his appearance day. I had some other personal emergency. So I take this opportunity as glorifying Srila Prabhupada. And people had only 2 minutes, 1 minute, but at least I had 1 hour. Thank you so much, all the committee and devotees who are hearing it. So I give this as offering to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhu. Haribol.
Haribol. Prabhu, we can end.
Yes, Prabhuji, I think there are no questions. We can end with the Vaishnava Pranam Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhobhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna devotees, I'll be ending the Zoom session. We'll meet again tomorrow morning. Krishna.